Social distancing at the chamber. My name is Garrick Taylor, here for a segment we sometimes call Happy Hour with Hammer. Glenn, Monday night edition, good to see you.
Good to see you, Garrick.
Typically, we do press conference wrap-ups on Thursday. An unusual move today from Governor Ducey, doing a Monday afternoon press conference. He announced that at 8 p.m. tonight, we're instituting a month-long pause on the operations of bars, gyms, movie theaters, water parks, tubing rentals. This will help relieve stress on our healthcare system, give time for new transmissions to slow. He also talked about new restrictions on gatherings of groups of more than 50. And we've also moved the date for in-person on-campus learning to August 17th. It was a lot. What were your reactions?
Painful, but necessary. Necessary because the hospitalizations have increased pretty dramatically in the last few weeks in terms of COVID patients. The ICU admittances have gone up. We all know the cases have skyrocketed. Now, a part of that, I should say, is because of the increased testing. But part of that is that there is widespread community spread now of the virus. I will say that it is though disappointing. I mean, we were at a point where there was a point where it felt like we could continue to breathe oxygen in our economy and get control over the virus. And we have to be candid here that some oxygen is now removed from the economy, but I'm not sure that there was any choice at this point.
Real concern among public health officials, not just in Arizona, but nationally, among the 20 to 44 age demographic.
Well, we've talked many times about doing the responsible thing. And if we all did the responsible thing and actually as good citizens and good businesses abided by very reasonable, necessary regulations, I'm not sure we would have been at the point we were at today. But, here's just the facts. There were more than a few bad actors among the bars and the nightclubs. And a lot of the younger people were partying like it was 1999. And you add those two things together, and some of the visuals from some of the tubing and other things like that, where caution was blown to the wind, it forced a reaction that unfortunately is going to hit a number of businesses that were playing by the rules. And that's really very sad, because there's going to be business people who will go out of business. Let's put it that way. Some of them will never reopen, and some of those jobs are going to be permanently lost. So today was a necessary day, but a bad day.
Glenn, we had a member of our board, I won't identify him by name, he tweeted it out, but talked about the number of jobs that have been lost due to a spread within this moment we're living in. And Glenn, I think just to amplify a point you just made, these are individuals who are now on furlough through no fault of their own. They had nothing to do with this, but it was a missed opportunity. And as you said, innocent people have gotten hurt now as a result.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad the governor did stress mask, more masks. We've been saying this, and the right thing is to wear a mask. Yeah, the president of the United States should put on a goddamn. I'm just going to say it's the kind thing to do. It will save lives, and it's not a Republican or Democratic thing. It's like putting on a seatbelt. When I drive a car and I put on a seatbelt, I'm not saying, "Oh, I'm a Democrat. I support state control," or "I'm an independent," or I'm a Newt Gingrich, Rush Limbaugh Republican. I put on the seatbelt. Why do I do it? Because I don't want to wind up on the other side of the windshield if I get hit by a car or stop short. And I certainly don't want that for my family. So the behaviors need to change quickly. I don't mean to be partisan here. It's, I could point to, it's not a Republican or Democratic thing, but our leaders at this point need to model good behavior. And I'll give a get out of jail card to all of our leaders up until this point, simply because the science on this, on some of these things, including masks, we're all over the place. That's no longer the case.
Yeah.
So let's all model the best possible behavior. So yeah, if you're in a mask factory, you're in public, wear a mask. I don't care who you are, President of the United States, Pope, I don't care. Superman, Wonder Woman, wear a mask.
Anybody
if you can't socially, if you're within 6 feet,
right,
or you're in public. At this point, I would say you're in public, just put on a mask.
put it on, right. There are other politics afoot, though, in the midst of this pandemic that are concerning. If there's an industry in Arizona that got hit first and worst, it's hospitality. Later this week, it's expected that the Phoenix City Council is going to look at a package of potential ordinances and new regulations on the hospitality industry that, Glenn, could do real damage. This is a whole bunch of mandates, and it looks, based on the reporting, this has more to do with an organized labor play than it does mitigating the spread of the disease. But that's just my take reading the stories. What do you think?
Oh, it's big labor trying a sneak attack during the time that is probably the most vulnerable in the hospitality industry's history in the state of Arizona. We have 300,000 or so jobs tied to hospitality and tourism in the state of Arizona. No industry has suffered more than this one. And this is simply a sneak attack. The process is terrible. And if Phoenix wants to send a message to the world, we don't give a damn about business, this is a pretty good way to do it. And, I get to see Mayor Gallego on TV a lot to instruct the governor and others on what they need to do. Well, she's going to get a vote. This is an easy vote.
It's a layup.
It's a layup. There's no industry in the state of Arizona that's been hit harder, Garrick. And there's no industry in the state of Arizona that has done more to put together safety protocols with the best big name brands and a lot of independent operators to protect employees and customers. This won't only harm the owners and the business people. This is going to be devastating to the workers. So vote no, no, no. It's absolutely awful, unnecessary, and the process of this just stinks to high hell. The
American Hotel and Lodging Association has a national program called Stay Safe. The Arizona partner organization, the Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association, has its own program, AZ Safe and Clean, whereby hotels can get special certification by demonstrating that they've gone above and beyond the industry's already high cleanliness standards. Glenn, the industry is doing a lot already. It's in their best interest to do so, to send a message to guests that they can stay with confidence. This is the nail in the coffin, this proposal.
That's well said. It's the nail in the coffin, and the industry wants to have healthy employees. They care, and they need healthy workers to operate in the hotels and the lodging establishments. And of course, it's consumer confidence. If consumers don't feel like the safety protocols are sufficient, they're simply going to stay home. They're not going to go into a hotel. Yeah. So here you have an industry that has been more proactive, I believe, than any other industry. And what's the response? This sneak attack. It has nothing to do with protecting workers, because a lot of workers, they're not going to be in any sort of healthier situation. But what it will do is that it's going to decrease the jobs available in that area. And, when you have at least 21 million Americans unemployed, and a very significant percentage of that is from hotel, lodging, and restaurants, this makes it so much more difficult. It's unnecessary. And if you're going to do this type of thing, why don't you at least meet with the industry? Talk through with the industry. If you have good ideas on safety protocols, I know Kim Savo very well, who's the head of the leading industry association in the state. she would gladly sit down with anyone to
Sure.
talk about how safety protocols could be put together. That never occurred. And if this would just be, as you said, it would be the nail in the coffin.
One final point, you've got to wonder, to the extent this really has anything to do with guest or employee health and safety, when properties that enter into a collective bargaining agreement with a labor union are somehow going to be exempt from these mandates. That really says a lot.
You know what it says, Garrick? It says, we think we have the power. We're going to do whatever we want. And if we want to put a big sign in our largest city, that represents, that's the largest city in a metropolitan area, 4.5 million people, that we're going to do things that are hostile and scary for business. Because let's remember, if they could get away with this for the hotel and lodging, and it's much broader. I believe it covers the sports teams, the convention centers. Good luck for Arizona getting these great conventions. Good luck for great groups like Visit Phoenix to be able to sell Arizona if we have those types of regulations. It's terrible process, terrible policy. It's time for Mayor Gallego and the Phoenix City Council to say no. If there's a desire to have a good discussion with industry, that discussion will gladly be entered into. But come on, in the middle of a pandemic, to put this thing last second into an agenda, and then to have that exemption, come on.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. All right, that's the news for a Monday. Glenn, who knows? Maybe another press conference tomorrow. We'll see.
What we're going to continue to do, there's a lot of great actors all through the state. Our universities, our community colleges are working overtime to provide testing. Companies like Sonora Quest are doing a great job. You've got a lot of private companies, some of the pharmaceuticals that are really working the problem. So, we're going to get through this, but we all are going to need to step up our game. So where we could, as the governor said very clearly, we're safer at home.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't do that, physically distance at least 6 feet. And even I'd say at this point, if you see humans in any sort of close proximity, let's err on the side of caution and put on a face mask.
Right. All right. Well said, Glenn. Another one in the books. Thanks again.
Thank you.